Hello, everybody, and welcome to Music Industry Insights Worldwide. Today, we've got the awesome Nat with us. Hi, Nat, how are you? Do you want to tell the listeners a little bit more about yourself, where you're from, and what you do?
Well, really good. Thanks for asking, and so excited to be here. Actually, just the whole initiative seems super, super amazing. And well, a little bit about myself. I'm a Colombian German artist, singer, songwriter, producer, also a journalist, which is actually what I studied in school, um, and more of like summarize. I do music that I've called Gothic Tropic Pop, which is a blend of atmospheric dark sounds with tropical influences.
Fair.
And right now I'm based in Madrid, which is like the newest acquisition to my resume.
Beautiful place to be, actually. And you've got so much going on. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about your transition and where you're from and how your culture's affected what you do and the music you bring out?
Well, it's really important that little part of me. I'm Colombian. I was born and raised in Colombia, in Cali, particularly. But I grew up with this like double nationality thing where I was, as I said, born and raised in Colombia, but I'm from German descent. So
Victim.
it was a bit weird because I didn't fit like in the normal Colombian culture, but I also wasn't like that German. Starting because I didn't even speak German. So it
Right.
was really funny, let's say, but I think in the process of finding my own identity, I made my identity that point of having no identity, like not fitting in. That
Yeah,
was where I was actually more comfortable.
yeah, where do we fit? And I think it's really important about the belonging piece. Where do you belong now, and how do you feel your identity brings part of your belonging?
Where do I belong now? I think I belong in authenticity and listening to myself. I mean, I just moved like 4 months ago to Madrid, and now I'm living in Spain, which is a cultural difference, for saying so. But I think I've made my amends with the fact that you are your own home
Mhm.
always and wherever you are. So I think that's one of my most focused aspects right now. I think my belonging is to authenticity and just being myself all the time and knowing that I'm good with myself
I get
all,
that
all
totally.
the time.
But what about your identity and how you feel? You know, you're from multicultural background, and I think sometimes that also has an impact on how you feel and who you feel you fit in with. So when you look back at your multicultural heritage, has that also had an impact on how you fit in and where you think you feel you fit in?
Yeah, definitely. Because, as I mean, Colombia is a pretty colorful country. I
Well,
mean, it's amazing. I miss it a lot, and we have quite the culture, and it's really artful. It's music, it's dance, it's painting, it's a lot of things.
no.
But it definitely made a big impact on me on that creative side. I think it also made me want to explore more narratives and more languages to say things I thought I needed to say, but even more important, things that I felt weren't that visible at that time. Um, I mean, injustice, violence, which is also some topics that obviously made part of the landscape. So that made me like connected with that creative side, but also with this like this grounded side of me that also knew that creation and music and exploration and the arts went um,
And
really together with just having a voice and using it for good, let's say.
I think that's a lovely thing. Like, you know, you're being suppressed, not oppressed a lot of the time. You've moved from different countries, you've had different cultural influences. How has that affected you and the way you express your art today?
Well, I think I actually made my identity of that part because I took a lot of elements from this Colombian heritage,
Mm,
but I also um, decided I wasn't going to make a part on some other aspects. And with the German side, I think I did the same, but like it was a bit further from me
okay. Yeah.
because I wasn't there, you know, just that little fact that I was immersed in the culture. It
Exactly.
made me just want to explore like on the outside maybe. So as an outsider of that culture, I was still part of, but living in Colombia and having all this other landscape and reality and um, social influences because of things that happen every time.
Yeah.
I I decided to make my art about that exactly, about that Gothic that I perceive this darkness and history, but culture, because Gothic is not also always linked to, let's say, bad things and vampires and all
Mm,
that.
so,
And the tropics, which is
and
yeah, Colombian roots.
in tropics, you've got the jungle, beautiful animals. Such a beauty.
Yeah,
I want to go. Honestly, I have to come to Colombia. Big
you
fan.
have to.
And I know you're good at football. I used to teach at the University
Sure.
of Oxford, and you love football. You used to have these special little hats. It's like a sombrero.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of a round one, but a red one, a big one. And you used to have them on.
All right.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about the way you feel and think about equality, diversity, inclusion as well in the music industry, and how you think that impacts how much you can achieve?
Well, actually, in back in Colombia, when I was just starting, and I started really young. I started like at 16, let's say, just doing music, playing around, and then I started recording my own songs. I won a prize that made me have my first recording and publishing it. Yeah, and back then, I didn't have a name for that, but I always got to sit down with friends, girls that also were like in the same place as me. And we always got to talk about a lot of things, but one of the points that always repeated was the fact that we felt like lonely. We felt like we were invisible, like our efforts and our art wasn't that recognized versus the voice, and that we didn't have like this space for us.
I get that.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that came along like a lot of times. So one day I just uh, started a festival, like mainly focused on women-led projects, and at that moment, I was just doing it like for myself and my friends, you know? Like everything
Well,
just starts right there.
yeah.
Um, but then I got approached by a lot of girls, a lot of women, and gender diverse people that were telling me like, "Hey, I want to be part of this. I feel like you're doing something that is, I mean, maybe the word isn't new, but it's different and it's necessary, and we want to have a share of this, and we want to be a part of it.
You
So
have been a
what
part
can we do?"
of centuries and centuries. And this is another thing.
Yeah.
I think, your cultural identity, as well as your own identity, is interlinked because there's that belonging piece in, okay, I'm mixed race here. So I don't quite fit in here. I don't quite fit in there. I belong in this group here. I don't quite fit in there and I don't quite fit in here. Does that make
Yes.
music impactful and soulful and beautiful and also part of a struggle that people can relate to?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, I felt in that time that that visibility, that representation was what I always looked for, you know, because I like you just said, I didn't fit anywhere, and I just found this little community where we were all like misfits.
Beautiful.
So it was beautiful because yeah, I was lacking that representation, and I made myself kind of like what I was looking for when I was just starting. So it all went down there.
I
Yeah.
get that feeling too. And if anyone wants to listen to the music that you're bringing out at the moment, if they want to connect with you to find out more about your music, how can they do that now?
Well, first of all, what they're gonna listen is exactly that mix of a lot of things. I mean, I have boleros, I have Afrobeats, I have bossa nova, but I also have a lot of rock, a lot of blues, a lot of soul, a lot of
What we say?
experimental stuff. Yeah, it's
Oh,
like this big range of things. But because I think that was actually my greatest gift in life. Let's say that. I didn't belong anywhere and I still don't,
okay.
but I feel comfortable with that now and I've made my part to it.
Yeah,
And I actually have made, like I was telling you, with authenticity, I've connected with myself and with my art and with my speech and my narrative and what I want to say and what I want to represent and what I want also to make visible to people in this music. So they're gonna hear this Colombian German person that loves doing music and that feels it has like this big, big, big and amazing power to connect people
yeah,
all around the world, just like we're connecting right now.
exactly. And how important is meaningful relationships to you and your career that you've built at the moment? How important has that been to you? And finding the
It
right,
has been crucial. Yeah, it have been crucial because I think you can get to meet a lot of people in the business, like it's part of our day to day,
yeah,
but you won't always connect with them. I mean, they won't always have this big meaning in your life, but just one conversation can
change.
switch it up, and yeah, it can change everything. So I think connections and all these relations I've been building this whole time has been crucial for me because it had, I mean, they have fed me like with a lot of ideas, with a lot of love, with a lot of support, with a lot of new perspectives and yeah, ideas that I didn't have before.
You know, something else now that I've been learning a lot about is failure. And sometimes you've got to fail, you've got to make mistakes. And how important has that failure been and making some of those mistakes to get to where you are right now?
Oh, they have been really important because when I was starting, I made a lot of those, but I think, yes, you said failure is just like, I mean, for me, it's like a necessary step for learning.
Yeah,
Because if you don't fail, at some point, you won't get the chance to meet yourself at that specific vulnerability point because that's what makes us uncomfortable. I think this vulnerability, and for me, art and music and creating, it's all about that. So it's really important to allow ourselves to just make mistakes and actually embrace failure because it's good and it makes you grow.
I think so too. And how important do you think age and cultural difference is? You know, we're from multicultural backgrounds. We often look at people as the same because we see difference as equal, but not everyone is
Yes.
from our own backgrounds. What would you say to people that are from, you know, maybe a background that is purely one thing and they don't see what we see? What would you like to say to them?
Well, first of all, to look inside because it's really important to recognize um, that we are all part of everything.
Yeah,
We're not that separated. We're not that far away, even if we believe so, or culture, whatever makes us believe so, we are all the same. And that's something that I really like to remind myself. And then to just look for your own voice, because why be an echo when you have your own voice and you can share your own narrative with your own terms, and make your own rules. So
yeah,
that would be something I definitely recommend in approaching life in general.
100%. And also, I want to ask you, being in the music industry, being an underrepresented group, being a woman, being multiracial, you know, from a different country, have you suffered from stigma and discrimination in progressing in your career?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, as I was telling you, it was a bit weird back then when I mean, you're seeing me, I'm super white. I look almost like, I don't know, Snow White or something like that.
Yeah,
and that's not the Colombian look of girls, So in that point, at some point of my career, it was like you don't fit in the mold that Latina women should look like, and you don't sound like it should sound.
there is no
So I
sun.
was like,
You know,
yeah.
you can't be this in this country. It's impossible.
Exactly. And if I mean, I didn't, but if I came to Germany, I was probably wasn't going to look like whole German women. And well,
We're never
that part of that,
to be, so we can't be something we're not. We can only be ourselves, right?
exactly, exactly. Yeah, definitely. And not fitting in those molds actually made me realize that I mean, yes, being a woman, it's really hard in
Yeah.
this industry. It's not a secret, I think. I hope not anymore, at least.
Well done.
And well, working towards making yourself a career and also respecting yourself, but also putting the high standards to your project because you're not just making some music and you're just not like having a hobby, but you're working your ass off and you believe in things and you're doing business and I mean, you're doing all the possible work. It was hard because yes, I mean, as multicultural and being mixed race and being a woman, and being queer and being everything I am and everything whatever I'm not,
And
it was like,
you know,
yeah, you have to fit in this box, but oh no, you can't fit in here because you're this, so oh no, you have to fit in this one because diversity also has become a box in some sort of way.
uh,
So I started like realizing at that time that I didn't wanted this mold that had just my name on it and it was just me and
it's about community. It's
that
about
was it.
but other people can relate to that, but doing it in an authentic way. Because I think some people are not doing it in an authentic way because they want to tick that box. And I think we can see the difference, can't we?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure.
And I thank you so much for speaking up about that and just being yourself and pushing for that change and overcoming some of these barriers, some of these challenges. Now, how important is financial barriers into the industry, especially when you're from an underrepresented group? You know, you might not have the money, you might not have the experience or the education, and a lot of them cost money.
Yeah, and I mean doing music just by itself, it's really expensive. I mean, right now we're lucky because technology has made us go that far that yeah, we can just allow ourselves to get a laptop, get a pair of headphones, mic, and you can do your music.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but financially, I think it's definitely a challenge because just right there with the fact that you are born with stability or not,
Oh,
music and arts are made an option or not an option for you.
wow.
So that's been actually part of the work I did in Colombia because I wanted to get women to get some education in the fact that you can do it by yourself. It's going to be a little bit harder, but I mean, the government had a lot of initiatives that could support them and help them, like at least manage to, I don't know, get a demo or something.
Yeah.
Um, but because of the educational and financial background they had, because of course they're obviously linked, they didn't know that options weren't even there. So that was like my little part in that, like making them know because it absolutely has struck on the fact that if you don't have stability in, I mean, and this is like
In any
a
part.
harsh reality. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You can even dream of that, And actually, that was one of the first things I remember when I was really little that my family told me, like,
That's
if
great.
you want to do something with your life, do something that gets you money. And I
Love.
immediately thought, like, oh, yeah, totally I
See,
mean, it makes sense,
it doesn't make
But
money.
I grew up and I was like, I can't even think of doing anything else.
Yeah.
And eventually it gave me money because I've worked a lot to find my place in, but it's just the fact that recognizing you have options or not options, it's really hard. Yeah.
It's really, really difficult. And you know what? Thank you again for talking out and telling us a little bit more about that. And I think people from underrepresented groups, especially women that want to do different roles, that want to get into these roles, that might not have the money or the stability, is follow your passion, follow your dreams, but also like build a network, find people that are like-minded, find women that are around you that are trying to get the same goals. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. That has been the secret for me. Yeah.
Yeah, likewise. And it's not just what you know, it's who you know, right? So get out there,
Mm,
tell people your story, share them with your vision, but also be authentic with that and be kind and caring. So if there's anything you
yes.
on to the next generation of talent that are just coming into the music industry right now, what would that be?
Mm, well, a lot of things, but the main of them would be to 100%, but like, I mean, not even 100, like 500% believe in yourself
Yeah,
and believe in your gut and listen to it and listen to your own voice. Don't let a lot other people around you tell you what you can or you cannot do because they're not living your life and you are the only person that can represent yourself and that can live your life and share your thoughts and share your feelings and tell your story just because you can do it. So 100%, 500% believe in yourself and do the work because it's hard. Yeah, it's difficult, and you're going to get to a lot of pain points where you don't even know what you're doing anymore, and you're asking yourself, why is this like this? And you get tired, and you get anxious, and
I do that
a
thing.
lot of yeah. um, but you can always work it out. Like you just said, Saskia, I mean, it's finding your community is just having, even if there's just two people by your side, that's enough. Because if you believe in yourself and in that narrative, in that dream, no one can get that to you.
That's really, really important. And thank you ever so much for sharing that, Nat. If people want to connect with you, find out more about your music, where you're from, what you're doing, they might see your website. How can they do that?
Well, I'm on all socials, and they can find me like Nat Bieler. My last name is a bit weird, just like
Oh,
me,
no.
I guess. And but it's just simple. It's NatBieler, and that's it. Just like that in all media. Also the streaming platforms, they can listen my music to it, and find it on YouTube where I'm constantly uploading music.
I'll leave all of those in the description below. And is there any music coming out soon? What's going on with the music? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of music coming actually because I haven't released some in a while,
Okay.
but that was because I was working in this conceptual project that I was just telling you about. It took me a lot of research to find that root on the Gothic tropic thing, but I finally made it
Hush.
to the pop sound I wanted, and right now I'm working towards that. It's going to be my second album, so I'm really excited for it. I mean, I've worked it hard to get to the point of that sound I wanted, and that's what's going to come. Hopefully this year.
Fingers crossed. Well, keep an eye out for this. And
Yes.
bringing out a second album. You've already had one album out. You're bringing out a second. How nerve-wracking is that? And how much have you now got to feel that, oh my goodness, I got to achieve double what I achieved last time because I got to stay relevant. I got to be better than I did. How hard is that for you as an artist?
It's crazy because when I released my first album, I was so naive. I was so young. I mean, I felt like just releasing it, it was like all I needed in my life. Like I could, yeah,
Yeah.
that was it, you know. This is the point where I make it and
Yeah.
ta-da, and magic, and it would happen.
Inspiration and you made it.
Yeah, definitely. But with this second one, let's say I've been more attuned with my own taste,
Okay.
because on the first one, I was, like I said, I was really young, so if a producer told me, "Nah, you need to sing this song like this," I would do it because yeah, he's the one who knows, you know.
Of course. Yeah.
But with the second piece, it has all been made in my head. So someone tells me, we should do this, I can consider it, sure, but if I don't like it, if I don't want it, if
Right.
the crazy idea is what I want and the difficult one and the hardest approach, it's what I want, then that's what we're doing.
But you
So
go.
it's 100% me.
Good
I
on
think
you.
that's the big difference with the second one.
It's more original. I love that.
Yeah,
Really inspirational, really empowering. Good luck. Want to hear more? Let
thanks.
us know when it's out. We'll promote it some more.
Thanks for
So,
sure. Thank you.
thank you so much for your time. Speak soon. Bye.
Yeah, sure. See you soon.
Thank you.